I remember one time there was our artistic director. I was asking him to do some motion capture because he has kind of the same body type as J-Rod, and I was asking him to take a bat and to beat the shit out of some pillars. It was really funny because he was like a meter away from our game designer who looked terrified.
This is Open Indie number 14. We're going to take a road trip in this episode. We're going to talk about the indie game Road 96, which has been out since August 2021. It has been developed from an indie studio in France, and I'm now going to talk to Alicia from the studio. Hello, Alicia.
Hello.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, all right. My name is Alicia Magistrello, and I'm working at DigixArt as a 3D animator.
Road 96, as I said, like kind of a road movie adventure, very story-driven game. Do you want to maybe describe a scene, maybe your favorite scene from the game?
I think one of my favorite scenes is one with my favorite character, of course. His name is J-Rod. But at the start of the scene, you don't know that you're gonna meet him because you're arriving at a normal motel and you're going to sleep, but then you wake up in his room and he's just staring at you. And it's very creepy. He's the creepy character of the game. Most of his scenes are horror themed. And I think that's pretty cool. And then in this scene, you have to help him hide a body. I'm not sure how much in detail I should talk about it. I don't want to spoil the experience, because it's kind of a surprise when you play, but...
Yeah, I met this creepy character because I looked into the game as well for a short while, and I met him, and I totally made the wrong decisions, I think.
Oh no!
Yes.
Did you meet him in his taxi?
And no, I met him in his room, exactly. Like the scene that you were describing.
Oh yeah, really?
He was just...
I love it so much.
Yeah, it was really creepy, and I was like, oh no, now he caught me, and for people who don't know this game, maybe you can describe a bit what the story is about and how you play this game.
Yeah, of course. You're playing as a random teenager in a fictional country named Petria, which is a totalitarian country, and you want to flee. You want to cross the border to go outside of this country, and so you take your road trip to the border, and you're gonna meet a lot of people, and the decisions you take during your road trip will influence the political aspect of your country, but also the personal aspect of the character you meet.
The gameplay is just about like making decisions and stuff like that, yeah?
Yeah, it's a narrative game, so you're just walking and talking to people. But there's also some mini games that you play. Like in each sequence, there's at least a mini game that you play, so it's very diverse.
My experience was like, I really like this game, I must say. Like the atmosphere and also the music. You've got these electronic beats, but also some guitar sounds, and always fits the setting, I think. Also, the stories are very interesting, and the characters you meet. I really had the feeling that you can really choose your own adventure. It reminded me also a lot of Life is Strange. The first one, not the second, definitely not the second. And the early Walking Dead Telltale games. Were these games maybe an inspiration?
Yeah, those were a main inspiration, actually. And also Firewatch for the graphic style of the game.
With what other games you think can Road 96 be compared to?
I'm not sure, but one thing I like to compare Road 96 to is a Choose Your Own Adventure book, because that's pretty much how the game works. Like, you have a sequence you start with, and then based on which decision you leave this sequence, it's gonna send you another sequence, pretty much like a Choose Your Own Adventure book. And also I can say that we have a prequel book, which is a Choose Your Own Adventure book, and it takes place 10 years before the game. So if you like the story of the game, you probably would like the book.
That's pretty cool.
I read it on as an ebook, and it was really great. I loved it.
How's it called?
I think it's probably Road 96 prequel, something like that.
What do you think what players will enjoy Road 96?
Obviously, people who likes narrative game, like Life is Strange, would probably like it. If you don't like politics in a game, maybe don't play it. Because it is really politically based, because, well, you're in a totalitarian country, there are elections coming up, and it's a tense political climate. So if you don't like politics, don't play it.
It seems like the US election, and there's also a candidate which reminded me a lot of Trump. There are teens who are running away because of that. Why did you choose that setting?
Well, the fictional country does look a lot like the US, because it has, the US has a fantasy of road trips, like big open roads and desert all around. But actually the context politic is supposed to be a mashup of a lot of countries, so it's not only the US, it's also Russia, country on the east side of Europe. It's supposed to be everything, it's not only the US, even if I know that the country looks a lot like the US. But the starting idea was that it's just like the prime example of a totalitarian country. I don't know if it makes sense.
Sure, it does. So you didn't, choose a particular country. It's supposed to be fictional.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be the US.
Why, like, the similarities to Trump election?
I don't think it was done on purpose. Like the color code, like red and blue, is more because, there are two opposing colors, and usually you associate the red with something bad and the blue with something good. The actual president of our fictional country is more a caricature of a Soviet dictator, actually, than it was Trump.
Was there a reason why you chose, like, make it a little more political?
Well, it was not the idea at first. At first, it was the goal of your character was to go to a festival, like a Burning Man or something like that. But then the more we advanced in the production, the more we felt that it was lacking depth and that we need some more danger maybe, or something a little more serious than just going to a festival. But we like to do some seriousness as well as some silliness. Like you will see if you play the game that there are really serious moments, but also really fun ones. It's not the political aspect does not represent all of the game.
Yeah, that's true. I remember those bikers I was with in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I was thinking about them.
Yeah, they're really crazy.
Yeah, they are. I think it's a strong point of the game. Whatever taste in game you have, you will find yourself in it, because it's really diverse in terms of mood and situations.
As I said, Road 96 is out since August 2021. What player feedback are you getting so far?
Well, a lot of people are really enjoying it, and it's really great to see the feedback that we saw on Steam or on our Discord server. It's fantastic. I love seeing people enjoying something I made, so that's nice. And, well, I think the thing that people may dislike is, as I said, it may be too political, but that's kind of what we wanted, so yeah.
They like that it's political?
Depends of the players, but some people were not did not think it was like that when they bought the game, I think. So that's maybe why they disliked it. But most of the review we have are positive, so that's nice.
Yeah, I also was surprised, to be honest, that it's political, like going in that direction.
Yeah, when you see the colors and the style of the game, maybe you do not expect that.
So most player feedback you're getting, they're positive, right?
Yep. And that's nice because when you're on Steam and you have positive reviews, while Steam puts you more on the front page, for example, or recommend you more than if you have negative reviews. So it's really important for us.
The game is fully released, but are there still things you're working on?
I cannot say much, unfortunately. But yeah, if there are some bugs, we still work on it to fix them. But mostly everything is done by now.
You're not planning to release any new content or stuff like that?
I'm sorry, I cannot say. We're working on some stuff, but cannot say what.
Okay. You are planning something?
Not specifically for 196, but if you like this game, what we're gonna do next, you'll probably also like.
Aha, okay. That's a good teaser. So, Alicia, you are a 3D animator, right?
Yep, right.
What parts of Road 96 did you animate, or did you animate everything?
I did not animate everything, I was not alone, but every time we see a character doing something, I probably worked on it at some point as a production. because I was the first animator and the last. So yeah, I worked on every character. And sometimes I did also the motion capture for some of them. So if you see Alex walking in a diner, that's me. That's me walking.
Ah, okay. So you were the model, kinda?
Yeah, since we don't have that much of a budget for actors, I was also doing the motion capture. Like we have a suit that you put on with a gyroscopic capture. It captures data that after I put on a character. Well, since I'm also one of the only girls, I had to do a lot of motion capture for the girls, like Sonia and Zoe. That's also me. It's really fun to do, I have to say.
Did you have or do you have acting experience before that?
No, absolutely not. But doing it again and again, you understand what you have and what you don't have to do. Like, I think the most error we did at first was overplaying stuff and doing big movements when actually it's not needed that much. Like, it does not feel natural, you know.
Yeah, so you, I don't know, became more authentic maybe?
Yeah, maybe, I think.
Yeah, I heard that if you're playing in a theater, you have to do some big movements, so people on the back row will also know what you're trying to say.
I think we also had to think more in which context animation would be used. Like, if you're really close to a character, you don't want to make big movements. But if you're seeing the character from very far, like in theater, well, there you have to make big moves, or you don't see anything.
How many times do they have to repeat a scene, maybe?
I'm not sure I could say. I think we did not really much repeat. Like, we were capturing constantly so that at least one of them would be good.
So you were actually an animator, but you had to also play, you have to also be an actress for the game.
Yeah, when you work in a small indie studio, you have to do a lot of things that are not specifically your job. So that's cool, because I love to do a lot of things, different things, and you learn so much. That's very nice. Plus, it's really funny doing it in the studio. Like, sometimes you have to pretend being shot and dying on the ground. It's really funny.
Is there a making of video about that?
Yeah, actually. I think you have 2 episodes of making of maybe on YouTube. And then you can also... There's a 52 minutes documentary on the making of all the game that is available as a DLC on Steam.
While you were animating these characters, how did you come up with that style?
That style. An animation, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you get your ideas while animating?
Well, I think our characters are pretty much cliché, so it's kinda obvious how they should move. Like Sonia, for example, she's a diva working with big heels. Like, obviously she's gonna walk like maybe a doll, or like I'm not sure how to say, but I think it's something a little weird also. Like, at first, maybe not everyone had the same opinion of the characters and how the characters should act and move. Like for Alex, for example, at first some people were thinking, no, he's gonna be shy and he's not talking too much, and others were like, no, he's very sure of himself and outgoing. And that's where we had to try something different in animation, like doing both of the opinion and see what was working best with the character and the model. But it was easier once the voice were recorded, I think. Like, that's where the character became really alive, for me at least.
You tried to put all the opinions into your art style?
Yeah, I think it was trying a lot of different things, iterating on different things also. Like, you put version 1 and then version 2, and you compare, and you're like, I think this one's working better. Like, obviously, you're not gonna nail it the first time, so...
The voice acting, is that also something you did?
No, I did not do voice acting. We had a real voice actor for that, fortunately. Could you imagine every character with a French accent?
Would be great, it would be fun. How did you become an animator?
I did a 3-year courses after high school. That was not specifically animation, but like game art. Like, you learn how to do a 3D model, some texture, how to animate, stuff like that. And after this, I was, really enjoying animating more, because I was also enjoying animating in 2D. And I think that's when I decided that I want to be an animator.
And then you immediately joined DigixArt?
Yeah, I did a 6 months internship, and then I was hired, so here I am.
Great.
But I have to say, I learned more being employed at DigixArt than in my school years. Like, nothing's from you more than really doing the job.
What would you say is the job like?
Well, I cannot say for that the same for everybody, because I think each one has a unique experience. And I work only at DigixArt, so I can only talk about my experience here. But the reason I like it, as I said, is that I get to do a lot of things. Like, I'm not only doing animation, I'm doing also the setup and the facial controller and stuff. And, I think I like doing a lot of different things. But specifically in animation, I think you kinda give a soul to the character. Like, when you see them move, it's like you are a puppeteer with your puppets. And I think I really enjoy seeing them coming alive.
Even though you haven't been that long in the games industry, is there still a moment where you say, oh, that's something I will always remember?
Well, I think I will always remember 196 as being my first game, because it was a really big experience for a first game, and it went really well with the team. And more specifically, I think, the motion capture, as I said, there are very epic moments. Not specifically me doing it, but I remember one time there was our artistic director. I was asking him to do some motion capture because he has kind of the same body type as J-Rod. And I was asking him to take a bat and to beat the shit out of some pillows. It was really funny because he was like a meter away from our game designer, who looked terrified.
Yeah, I really have to look into this making of video.
I'm not sure we have a video of this part specifically, but I love this job because it's always full of surprise. Like, you never know what you're gonna do.
So when did you join DigixArt? Because they were founded 2015?
Yes.
Have you been around since that year also?
No, I was finishing high school at this point. So, yeah, I was here only for 196. I did not work on the project before that.
Do you still know how the studio was founded?
Yeah, it was, Johan. He was working at Ubisoft, but he was tired of all the hierarchy that's in the, how to say, he wanted to have his freedom of creating everything that he wanted. Like, when you're at Ubisoft, you have to be approved by your superior and ask them everything, so you're not free to do as you want. And he wanted to do whatever he wanted. So he left, and with Anne-Laure, his wife, he created DigixArt.
Yeah, they've made, like, with Road 96 then 3 games in total. In 2016, Lost in Harmony, this rhythm game made for mobile first, and 2018 1111 Memories Retold, adventure game set in World War I with a really special art style, I think. Like, everything looks like an oil painting. Do you like that kind of style?
I think that's a good idea, but I'm not a fan of the realization. Like, the finished product is a little blurry, unfortunately. And playing it too long kinda give me a headache. So yeah. But the idea was really good, I think.
Also, for me, these are very different games, I think. Like this mobile game, then World War I setting, and Road 96. Or do you see some similarities between these games?
Well, I think the similarities is still the narrative component. Like in Lost in Harmony, you have this story about Kaido that's losing his friend Aya because she's dying of cancer, and he texts her with his phone. And even if it's a rhythm game, you have the story part that's most important. And for 1111, it's the same. It's more of the story that it tells, that the gameplay that's important.
Also, yeah, Lost in Harmony, the very first game was, as I said, for mobile only at first. Do you have any experience developing for mobile games?
Personally, no. And also, since I'm an animator, it does not really impact my work. Like if we were to do, doesn't really matter. I think, yeah, it could have some more constraint if you were on mobile, because it's obviously less powerful than a PC. But that's not much my problem.
Okay. So from the animation, that doesn't matter for which platform you animate characters and places.
Yeah, I think my job still stays the same. It's just that you're doing stuff less complicated for mobile, because, well, it has to run on a mobile, so...
I also checked your website, and I saw there photos of your team, which is pretty nice, and I saw pictures of your games, and there was also a photo showing a beach.
A beach? With the team on it, or just the beach?
Not just a beach. You work at the beach or on the beach?
No. But when we released the game, we did a party at the beach for, well, to celebrate. But I don't know why there's a picture of the beach on the website, I'm gonna say. But we're not so far away from the beach, like 20 minutes in car.
Oh, nice. I've also read that the development of Road 96 had happened not only during the pandemic, but also when you were in between publishers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. It was really a challenging development, because at one point we kinda had a prototype. Like, we had the game, but the game was kinda ugly because we did not have artists. And we were running out of money. And we were like, oh well, what are we gonna do now? And that's when HP came into the picture. And thanks to them, we could finish the game. Because they gave us some money. And some computer. Really nice computers, I have to say. Thank you, HP.
The publisher you have right now, then?
No, it was just for 196, I think. And now DigixArt have been bought by Koch Media. So now we won't have any more trouble with money, fortunately.
Since August, you're now fully part of that German publisher, Koch Media, right?
Yeah.
What has changed for you since Koch Media came along?
Well, for me personally, not much, I have to say. Well, we had to switch from Slack to Teams, which is our chat for chatting between colleagues. Does not change much. Well, actually, I think this is really nice because we still have our freedom to create whatever we want, which is a point that Johan was really insistent on. That was his priority. And I think it changed mostly for him and Anne-Laure, since they are our bosses. It's them that do all the meeting with Koch Media and stuff. But the team stayed pretty much the same. Well, less the fear of running out of money.
Do you then still see yourself altogether as an indie studio now being part of Koch Media?
We did not see much of Koch Media, but we still feel part of it, even if we still keep our identity. But maybe it will change in the future, because being part of this structure still allow us to have more partners, so that's really nice, and maybe we'll work with them, like, to do, for example, some merchandising, use maybe a motion capture studio, some stuff like that. For now, it's still very recent, so I'm not sure I can really talk about it.
We also talked to the French indie developer Enodo Games in episode number 11, and the game producer there, Raphael, he said that France is the second best place in the world for indie studios because they have some great programs. What do you think?
Well, I think it's true. Well, I don't know about being the second greatest place. I have no idea. But for me, I think it's a pretty good place. Because, for example, we have the CNC, which usually is more for the movies and stuff, but it also gives money to video game studio. And specifically in our region, which is Occitanie, we have some funds to, fund your game when you're doing it. And I think it can go up to 30% of your production, which is a lot. So, yeah. I think that's why there are so many game studios in Montpellier.
And there are many?
There are many indie studios.
Is DigixArt also getting any funding?
Yeah, for 196, well, the CNC helped us, the region helped us. I don't think we could have done this project without them.
But now with Koch Media, you probably don't need that anymore with the publisher now.
I don't know, actually. I don't know. Because sometimes the region still want to give money because, well, it's culturally part of the region. So they like to have their logo on the splash screen and stuff. So I don't know if for the next game we'll have it or not. We'll see, I guess.
As an indie developer, is there still something you wish for? Like something you need?
You need? I don't think I need anything. I mean, yeah, I am happy actually. I enjoy working in a little team actually. Like, if I wanted to go work on AAA, well, I would go, like Ubisoft and stuff, but that's not what I enjoy. Like, personally, I would never have the chance on working on the main characters if I was in a really big society, you know? I think I have more opportunities here and more responsibility also.
If like a AAA studio would want you, you would go?
No, I was saying if I wanted to go work on a AAA, well, I would, but I don't want, so I won't.
Is there something you want to tell other indie developers? Like, you've got any advice?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Do not put restraint on yourself. Like, be crazy and do whatever. That's what we did with our game. We did crazy stuff and people seem to like it, so yeah.
You also got any advice for people who want to be 3D animators like you?
Well, if you want to work on game animation, do game. Really, because there is a lot of animators who are studying only for TV series and movies, but not that much for game actually. Like, most of the people we interview to, well, work with me in animation, they have not even done one game before. Like, even, you know, some game jams or stuff like that. And when there's Unreal Engine and Unity that are free to use, well, use them, try some stuff if you want to work in games.
Your advice is to also try out some stuff at home, maybe, like, because you've got these free tools available, right?
Yeah, there's so much stuff online to learn and to try out that are free. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Like, so many open source programs, and
yeah,
they're pretty good as well, yeah. Just to sum up, Road 96 is out, and since August 2021, would you say you're satisfied with the game?
Yeah, I am. I think I am. I would have loved to do even better, but sometimes you gotta step down and be like, yeah, okay, it's done.
Yeah, at some point you need to finish it, right?
Yeah, you need to send it out to the players.
Alicia, thank you very much. That's it.
Well, thank you.